Good day, students. I'm gonna jump straight into our our next topic on the course outline, which is the KWL, also known as Know, Wonder, Learn, or Know What Learn. Okay, so it's all about what we know, what questions we have, and what we want to learn about a specific topic. Okay, that topic is usually up to the teacher, to you as the teacher, but it can pretty much relate to anything, to movies, plays, novels, um, whatever the case might be. And this is a nice thing to use, especially in subjects like your English, where reading comprehensions are important, or your language subjects. And then also, it can also be used as a strategy for studying. Okay, so even you can basically use this as a strategy to also study better. Okay, so what is KWL? Um, it is an instructional reading strategy that is used to guide students through a text. Students begin by brainstorming everything they know about a specific topic. This information is then recorded in the K column of the KWL chart. Students then generate a list of questions about what they want to know about a specific topic. These questions are then listed in the W column of that chart. During or after reading, students answer the questions that they that are in the W column. This new information that they have learned is then recorded in the L column of the KWL chart. So it's a very basic and actually quite easy to understand chart that can be used to pretty much gain knowledge, especially when it comes to reading specific texts or books, or trying to learn new topics, etc. etc. Let's move on. Okay, so the purpose of the strategy is to elicit students' prior knowledge of the topic or the text, and then also set a purpose for reading. Okay, and then help students to monitor their comprehension. So this is also not, it doesn't just aid in gaining new knowledge, but it also motivates students or young learners to pretty much um, grow in interest in a specific topic. So instead of jumping straight into to reading a text, you first find out what the current knowledge is surrounding that specific topic. Okay, so this is a nice strategy to use to gaining insights, or and also to pretty much get the interest levels up of your learners. Okay, and how do we use this strategy? So obviously the first thing that you need to do is you need to choose a text. So this strategy works best with expository text. You need to create a KWL chart, which we'll look at that shortly. And then the teacher should create a chart on the blackboard or on an overhead transparency. In addition, the students should have their own chart on which to record their information. Okay. Okay. So in the first column, obviously, if you have a topic that you want to discuss, or there's a specific book or text that you want to go through with your learners, then by using this chart, you can start by filling in the K column. So this is current knowledge on a specific topic. So even if they haven't read the text, you can show them the book. Maybe the book has a cover page with a picture on it. It has a title, so they can pretty much put down in this column what they think about the title and what the book is going to be all about. Or looking at the picture, it makes them feel like this book is about this and that. Or you can even get them to know who the author is, or get them to read the summary of the book, which is always at the back of the book. This can also be used. If you don't want to use books, you can also even use movies, because sometimes novels are turned into movies. take the example of Harry Potter, which is usually something that the youngsters are very fond of. You can pretty much ask them what they think about Harry Potter. Okay, so a lot of them haven't watched the movie, but they know about, or they know and pieces about it. Okay, so it's like a movie coming out, and then they give you a preview of the movie. They only show you certain bits so that they can grab your attention, and then you're gonna want to go watch that movie because now you have all these questions. Okay, so you have all these questions which you will then put in the W column, and then after formulating these questions, you would then go watch the movie, and then afterwards, and then you will actually be able to answer all these questions because now you've gone through the text, or you've pretty much gone to the movies and you've watched Harry Potter. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay, so when you present a topic or a text, ask the student to brainstorm words, terms, or phrases they associate with the topic. The teacher and students record these associations in the K column of the charts, and then this is done until students run out of ideas. Okay, so the first 10 minutes of the lessons, just go on and brainstorm, get them to list all of their current knowledge and what they think about the specific topic. Okay, and then have questions ready to help students brainstorm their ideas. Sometimes students need more prompting, which means they need a bit of motivation. Tell me, so you can ask, tell me everything you know about the specific topic to get them started. And then you can encourage students to explain their associations. This is especially important for those associations that are vague or unusual. So you can ask, what made you think of that? Okay, so they'll continually be listing these things that they think this topic is all about, and you can try and encourage them by asking following up questions or follow up questions, um, and this is pretty much done until there are no more ideas. Okay, and then the next step is to ask students what they want to learn about the topic. The teacher and students record these questions in the W column, which is the what or the wonder. This is done until students run out of ideas for questions. So if students respond with statements, then you can also turn them into questions before recording them in the W columns. So sometimes it might not be a question, but it could be a statement. So we can try and formulate that to turn it into a question. Okay, so all questions um, will be then entered into the W column. Okay, remember the K column is only the current knowledge or previous knowledge on a specific topic. Then usually there's a follow-up into the W column where they want to know more about the K column. Okay, so then they all start asking questions, but why this? But what happened here? How is this possible? Etc. etc. Okay, so suggestions for the W column is ask alternative question for generating ideas for the W column. If in response to what do you want to learn about this topic, your students are either having trouble coming up with ideas or saying nothing, try asking what are the following questions. What do you think you will learn about this topic from the text you will be reading? Choose an idea for the K column and ask, what would you like to learn about this idea? So come prepared with your own questions to add to the W column. You might want students to focus on ideas in the text on which the students' questions are not likely to focus them. Be sure not to add too many of your own questions. However, the majority of the questions in the W column should be student generated. Okay, then moving on to the L column. Okay, so now we already know the L column is obviously the learn column. So what have we learned through the text? So in addition to answering the W column questions, encourage students to write in the L column anything they found especially interesting. To distinguish between the answers to the questions and the ideas they found interesting, have students code the information in the L columns. For example, they can put a check mark next to the information that answered questions from the K column, and they can put a star next to ideas that they found interesting. So have students consult other resources to find out the answer to questions that were not answered in the text. It is unlikely that all the students' questions in the W column will be answered by the text. Okay, so we have students read the text and fill out the L column of the charts. Students should look for the answers to the questions in the W column. So students can fill out the L columns either during or after reading the specific text. Okay, I hope that makes sense. We will be looking at some examples shortly. Okay, so then next you would want to discuss the information that students recorded in the L column. Okay, and then here they say a teaching model that develops active reading of expository text. Okay, so this is similar to doing a reading comprehension. So it's comprehending the information that you've read in a text. An example here is following is an example of a completed KWL chart that students might complete if they were reading a text about gravity. Okay, so we go back to the example. Here's the question that they had on Newton. How did he discover gravity? In the text, we couldn't get that answer. Okay, so this might be something that is or the learners might be interested to actually know. So they might go into other texts, other forms of research in order to find out what this answer is. And that's pretty much the reason why this also encourages students to go out and find their own information, or just attracts them to a specific text rather than just diving into it. Okay, so when presenting a new topic, it's always good to use this strategy. Okay, you can even implement the KWL strategy without actually doing the chart. Okay, you can do this through a verbal session whereby you, as a teacher, just start highlighting a few things about a topic, and then or you show them a picture and then ask them how they feel about this picture, what is the story behind this picture, or you can do, like we said, different movies, characters, popular characters, etc., etc. And then obviously this is going to be related to your topic that you want to discuss, and then they will learn how to generate questions, and they would want to know more about the specific story, movie, or whatever the topic might be. Okay, and as soon as you see that there's interest and there's a lot of questions, now you gain their attention, and then you move on to the learning part where you actually introduce the topic or the specific text that you want to cover.
Hey everybody, I'm going to show you another reading strategy. This one is called KWL. This reading strategy will help you read more actively, stay more focused, and remember more after you read for that paper, that test, that quiz, that debate, whatever it is you need to use this reading for, okay? So KWL just stands for K, what do you know about the topic? W, what do you want to know about the topic? And L, what did you learn after you've read. Okay, so it's a reading strategy that has two parts. The first part is doing some work before you read, pre-reading, activating your prior knowledge. The second part is post-reading, after you read. What did you learn? Do a little bit of work with that, okay? This is the KWL handout, okay? So this is the KWL chart. K, as I said, stands for what do you know already about the topic. The W is what do you want to know, and the L is what did you learn, right? What did I learn after I read, okay? So you use this reading strategy whenever you're going to read something. My class, my students are reading this story, The Distance Between Us, okay? So if this were the first time they were picking up this book, they would just look at the title, they would look at the pictures, they would look in the table of contents, read the titles of the chapters, maybe skim the back and read the back summary of the story, and just get an idea of what this story is about, kind of preview a little bit, not reading and just previewing, getting an idea just so that they kind of know. Hey everybody, I'm going to show you another reading strategy. This one is called KWL. Help you read more actively, stay activating your prior knowledge. The second part is post-reading, after you read. What did you learn? Do a little bit of work with that, okay? This is the KWL handout, okay? So this is the KWL chart. K, as I said, stands for what do you know already about the topic. The W is what do you want to know, and the L is what did you learn, right? What did I learn after I read, okay? So you use this reading strategy whenever you're going to read something. My class, my students are reading this story, The Distance Between Us, okay? So if this were the first time they were picking up this book, they would just look at the title, they would look at the pictures, they would look in the table of contents, read the titles of the chapters, maybe skim the back and read the back summary of the story, and just get an idea of what this story is about, kind of preview a little bit, not reading and just previewing, getting an idea just so that they kind of know a little bit about what they're going to read. Then you can answer the question, what do I already know about this topic? And you don't have to know anything, right? You just, I know that there's a woman standing there. I know that there's a picture of this or that. I know that this woman grew up in the United States but was born in Mexico, because you read a little bit, right? So that's what you know, okay? And then you can even, what do you know about any of that? Not just the story, but what do you know in life, about this kind of story, or this type of, writer, or what do you know? I have a friend who grew up in Mexico and moved to the United States. That's something you know, okay? Now, in my class, we've already read the first 10 chapters of this book. So what I'm asking my students to do is just try to remember what they already know about the topic. So that's going to activate their prior knowledge. They're going to fill out that first column right there, the K column. So here, I'll do it. What do I already know? I've read the first 10 chapters. So what I already know, this is what stands out to me. This is what I remember. Okay. What I know is that there's a character, the character named Reina is very sad because her parents left her and her siblings to go to the United States. Okay. I know that the parents left the children in Mexico for many years. While they were in the U.S., the children lived with their grandparents, okay? And you could even, it doesn't have to only be about the story. It could be anything you know about this topic. The point is just to activate your prior knowledge about the topic, just to get you focused and thinking on this topic, okay? Now, let's move to the next column. The next column is the W column. What do I want to know? I'm about to read 10 more chapters. Before I do that, let's spend a few seconds thinking about what I want to know. I already know certain things, but what do I want to know? What more do I want to know? I want to know if the parents will both come back or if it will just be the mother. Okay, because actually the mother did come back, and I know that. I forgot to write it down, though, earlier. I want to know, I know, one thing I know that I forgot to write down too is that the mother comes back from the U.S. without the father and brings a new baby. I want to know if Raina's father is the father of that baby. I want to know, I want to know if the mother will stay in Mexico or go back to the U.S., okay? And I want to know if she goes back, will she take her kids, right? Will her kids be happy that she's back, or will they be disappointed in her or mad at her in some way because she's been gone forever, okay, for many years? All right, so that's the first part. That's the pre-reading stage. You have to activate your prior knowledge, what you already know about the topic, and then what you want to know about the topic. Now you're focused, you're ready to go. You're going to read with a focus because you've already written down what you want to know. So now when you're reading, you're actually looking to see the answers to those questions that you made, okay? And you don't have to find them. You don't have to be right or wrong or anything. The whole point of this is for you to actively read and focus. And the more you focus and the more engaged you are with your reading, the more you're going to remember. Okay? So I wrote down what I want to know. Now I'm going to read. And as I'm reading, I got those questions in the back of my head. So I'm questioning, I'm predicting, I'm guessing, I'm connecting with my life. I'm getting happy. I'm getting sad. I'm doing all these things while I'm reading. And I'm even finding words I don't know, and I'm learning the meaning of them by reading the words around them. I'm doing all this while I'm reading. Okay. Finish reading, put it down, go back to the KWL chart. And now here's the part where you try to connect what you read to what you remember. Okay. So now here's the L column. What did I learn? What did I learn from that? I just read that. What did I learn? Okay. So here. Okay. I learned that the mother of Raina's mother, will stay in Mexico. I learned that the father of the new baby is Raina's father. I also learned that Raina and her siblings didn't like that new baby at first. Later they did. I also learned that the mother and father broke up. He found a new girlfriend in the U.S. Okay. There's so much that I learned. I'm just remembering all these things that I read. Okay. So that's what you do. You just kind of jot down what you remember. Okay. And you can even look back at the W column and see, like, you wanted to know this. Did you find that out? I wanted to know if the kids were disappointed in their mother. Did I find that out? I did. I actually found that out. The kids were really happy at first that the mother came back, and then they were mad at her because of a lot of other reasons. She continued to abandon them and things like that. Doesn't matter if you're right or wrong. The whole point of this is to focus while you're reading. You don't need to write perfectly on this chart. You don't need to worry about your spelling and things like this. This chart is just a tool for you to read more actively. So I recommend using this chart at first a few times, and then eventually with this practice and focus, you're going to just start doing it on your own. Whenever you pick something up, Grammar for Great Writing, second language acquisition miss. Woo. Whenever you pick something up, You're just going to automatically start going, what do I know? What do I know about this? And connecting. And then you're going to say, well, what? Oh, I want to know that. I want to know. And then what do you want to know? And you read it, and then afterwards you can remember more because you focused. You were actively engaged. Okay? And this will happen automatically. And this is what good readers do. Automatically within their heads while they're reading, they're actively engaged, constantly predicting, constantly questioning, constantly going back to the way they connect with something and all that. Okay? So this is the tool to get you there. I hope that you enjoy it and that it's useful for you. Bye.